is a brain-friendly technique to help remember easily and learn faster by mapping out ideas in visual. It combines imagery, colors, and imagination to trigger the brain to think more creatively, have better understanding, and retain more information. There are a few advantages of using mind map. One is help remember and recall information easily. It makes complex ideas easy to understand. It is also an effective way to brainstorm ideas and it boosts our productivity. But despite all of the advantages, it is time consuming to build a proper and neat mind map. It can be difficult to elaborate on tasks and it may be hard for others to interpret, as mind map contains only main points.
Inheritance of traits in animals and plants is assumed to be governed by the set of two genes controlled designated by the capital A and A. The pair of two genes is called the individual's genotype and determines how the trait controlled by the genes manifests in the individual. The autosomal inheritance and recessive diseases can be determined by calculating the probability of genotype distribution by application of few concepts of linear algebra.
The objective is to investigate the propagation of an inherited trait in successive generation by computing powers of a matrix. Second, to determine genotype distribution of population through successive generation by constructing matrix model. Third, to summarize related linear algebra application on solving inheritance traits probability problem.
Genetics is the study of inheritance or the transmission of traits from one generation to the next. There are several modes of inheritance. However, our project will focus only on autosomal inheritance, autosomal recessive, and X-linked inheritance. In autosomal inheritance, each heritable trait is assumed to be governed by a single gene on a chromosome. There are typically two different forms or alleles on a gene. Each individual in a population carries a pair of alleles which may be similar or different. These pairs are called an individual's genotype, and there are three possible genotypes for a particular trait, which is both capital A, one capital A and small a, or both small a. What is characteristic for autosomal inheritance? There are two different alleles and each individual carries a pair of alleles which may be similar or different. Autosomal inheritance also can be solved by using diagonalization or eigenvectors and eigenvalues. By using eigenvectors and eigenvalues, we can find equivalence statement. We can refer to textbook page 298, eigenvalues and invertibility on example 8, page 298. Finding eigenvectors and base eigenspace on example 6, refer to textbook page 297. Finding eigenvectors, which is formula for eigenspace is lambda I minus a multiplied s equal to 0. The kernel matrix operator t lambda I minus a equal to r to r. Null space, formula for null space is lambda I minus a and set vector, which is ax equal to lambda x. Computing eigenvalues, characteristic equation of A determinant lambda I minus A equal to 0, we can refer example 4 on textbook page 294, non-triangular matrix on example 5, page 298, and definition 1, which is Ax equal to Lx, which is eigenvector is x and eigenvalue A is lambda. What is X-linked inheritance? X-linked inheritance means that the gene causing the trait or disorder is located on the X chromosome. Females have two X chromosomes, males have one X and one Y. Genes on the X chromosome can be received or dominant. These are 6 types of genotypes of parents. Why we use X-linked inheritance in genetics? As we want to determine probability of being one of X chromosome genotypes. X-linked inheritance also can be solved by using eigenvectors and eigenvalues. Next, we go to autosomal recessive. What is autosomal recessive? Autosomal recessive is one of several ways that a trait, disorder, or disease can be passed down through families. An autosomal recessive disorder means 2 copies of an abnormal gene must be present in order for the disease or trait to develop. There are some genetic disease which is cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, Cooley's anemia, and Tay-Sachs disease. X-linked inheritance also can be solved by using diagonalization. Diagonalization can refer to textbook page 303. We can find diagonalizable and not diagonalizable. Next, we can find geometric and algebraic multiplicity on example 7. Refer to textbook page 308. We can also find eigenvalues powers or matrices on example 6, page 307. Next, definition 1, which is P equal to P power of negative 1 AP, and definition 2, we can refer to textbook page 302, and we can find similarity transformation and similarity invariance on page 301.
Linear algebra can be used to predict the genotype distribution of a particular trait in the population and the number of generations from only genotype distribution of the initial population. In studying these questions, it becomes extremely useful to use mathematics as a tool for modeling change in population structure and composition over time. We now see that projecting into the future becomes a process of computing high matrix powers. Thus, we see that linear algebra allows us to be better modeling populations, enumerating certain properties of the population itself.